Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And happy Bitcoin Pizza Day. Yeah, that's right. Today is Bitcoin Pizza Day. Well, you might not have ever heard of Bitcoin Pizza Day, but Bitcoin Pizza Day is a thing. On this day, 7 years ago, the very first recorded Bitcoin transaction for tangible goods was recorded. And you may have guessed from the name what those tangible goods were. That's right. Pizza. On this day, 7 years ago, May 22nd, 2010, someone traded 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 large Papa John pizzas. Now, the Papa John's restaurant did not accept the Bitcoin. Rather, the individual posted on one of the Bitcoin forums, I will give 10,000 Bitcoin to whomever gets pizzas delivered to my house. Here's my address. And somebody said, pizzas are on the way. And he got the pizzas and sent the Bitcoin, and that was that. So, yes, 7 years ago, 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 large pizzas. Again, back in 2010, those 2 large pizzas, approximately $25 US worth of pizza. Do you want to know what 1 Bitcoin is currently valued at? Yes, you do. I know you do. And as I'm recording this on May 22nd, middle of the afternoon, 1 Bitcoin is valued, according to BitcoinAverage.com, at $2,217. So just do the math to see how expensive those pizzas would be today. But I must say that had that transaction not happened, then Bitcoin never would have become as valuable as it is. And you might be asking the question, well, why is that? Well, Bitcoin was created as a currency. And yes, I realize that this is not necessarily the, what you're expecting from this show, but bear with me for a moment. So Bitcoin was created as a peer-to-peer decentralized currency. Currencies need a value, right? Yes, they do. How do you determine the value of a currency? Well, it's based on what someone is willing to pay for said currency. And, well, when there's a currency going around that nobody has used yet, then basically the first person to ever use the currency in a real-world situation essentially sets the value of the currency. Now, certainly, this guy could have said, I'll trade 1,000 Bitcoin for 2 large pizzas. He could have said, any amount, but that first transaction is what sets the initial value. And then the value either increases or decreases from there, depending on market pressures. And market pressures have raised that price exponentially, again, to over $2,200 per Bitcoin. You might be asking yourself as well, all right, yeah, I know that somebody bought pizza because he gave some Bitcoin to somebody on a forum, but can I actually buy things today with Bitcoin? Yes, you can. As a matter of fact, I'm going down this afternoon to a Bitcoin place, or not a Bitcoin place, a pizza place in Keene, New Hampshire that takes Bitcoin, and I will buy a pizza with Bitcoin, and it's going to have a gluten-free crust because this place is just that amazing. So, yes, you can buy pizza today with Bitcoin. There are also millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants, and you can find those at spendabit.fppradio.com. Spendabit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Again, over 3 million products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant, like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. And also, because today was Bitcoin Pizza Day, I think that's why Shapeshift wound up holding a press conference announcing something major that they're rolling out. And I like the concept. I really like the concept of what they're doing here, to where, and I'll go into a little bit of detail, but not a lot, because the press conference just ended like 15 minutes ago based on when I'm recording this right now. And I watched the press conference. I've not gotten a chance to really, dig into the material on their website. But after watching that press conference, they have announced a portfolio sort of thing to where you only need one address. And I like it. So you can, and currently it's only set up to use Ethereum. And that's the part that I don't like. But with this thing, so you would fund, here's, $20 worth of Ethereum, and I want you to then divide it between Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Monero, Ethereum, this, that, something else, and here's how I want you to divide. So I really like the concept, but I don't like the fact that it's based on the Ethereum blockchain, because one of the whole things behind Ethereum is these quote-unquote smart contracts that are really dumb contracts because it takes out the human element. It's sort of like these zero-tolerance policies in schools and in various workplaces, to where basically it then means zero common sense. So when you hear smart contract, replace it with the word no human involvement. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account, or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And let's actually delve into the show topics here. Actually, there's a topic that is related to sort of the purpose of this podcast, and that's to sort of, be kind of a self-help, personal growth podcast while also being my form of therapy. And, well, because I like, the cryptos and politics, sometimes we go off on tangents about that. And I don't think I have yet, and yes, I realize I'm going off on a tangent about tangents, and that's kind of meta, but just bear with me for a moment. I don't think I have had a tangent about professional wrestling. I know I've had tangents and whatnot about getting into shape and running and working out, things of that nature. So yeah, there are tangents aplenty, as one might say. So speaking of tangents and how tangents sort of can manipulate a conversation, and I'm doing my best to segue into the show prep here. How does social media manipulate our views on winners and losers? Well, Jennifer Beach has written an article about this over at lifehack.org. She says social media undoubtedly has its perks. Certainly, there are perks to social media. Free advertisement, an endless opportunity for networking, keeping in touch with long-lost friends. But there's also an incredibly sinister aspect to constantly staying, quote-unquote, connected. Social media has negatively altered the way we view ourselves as well as the way we view others, and it just keeps getting worse. And now I'm not going to delve into, and I don't believe the article here gets into some of the sort of the test that Facebook has done, the psychological test that they've done, the manipulation to where they've intentionally manipulated people's timelines so that they can then gauge whether they have the ability to make someone happy or sad. Yet Facebook has done that. Facebook has done that, and Facebook has admitted to doing that. And they said, well, we're allowed to because it's in the terms of service. It's in the EULA, the end user licensing agreement. So we can manipulate you all we want. But, well, let's just delve into and get back into this article from Miss Beach. She has a couple paragraphs here headlined, "The Illusion of Perfect Lifestyles Makes Us Resent Our Own Lives." And again, this is something that I've talked about several times about how most people will wind up comparing their cutting room floor scraps to everybody else's highlight reel. And that's what social media winds up doing in a lot of ways. She says, social media is no longer about sharing your thoughts and actions among your peers. It's become a form of self-promotion, establishing a brand and sharing that lifestyle that you lead. However fabricated and fraudulent that supposed lifestyle may be, many of these individuals who follow these social media gurus honestly believe that these people lead flawless, exciting lives. To a degree, those who have honed the lifestyle career sentiment seem to have it all figured out. They've achieved ultimate freedom, except that they've made their lifestyles into their career, and therefore everything they do and say is for show, and nothing is truly authentic. Again, let me reread this and let it sink in. The people who are, the big social media celebrities, they have made their lifestyle, that persona has become their career, and everything they do and say is for show, and nothing is truly authentic. But despite this disillusioned truth, the abundance of social media superstars make the average person feel as if their lives are not fulfilling and they're not good enough to acquire such a following. People are beginning to rate their self-worth in terms of likes and follows, as if that actually validates how valuable and interesting you truly are. And this is sort of the downside of social media, right? And this touches on that psychological study that Facebook has done and probably continues to do, where, yes, people do wind up judging their value and their self-worth based on how many likes or how many hearts or how many laugh faces or wow faces or frowny faces or the crying face reactions they get on posts. People judge their value and their worth based on how many comments on a thread. They judge their value based on what's really artificial communication. And now, what do I mean by artificial communication? Yes, obviously, you're sitting there typing on a keyboard or mashing things with your thumb or swiping with your thumb or talking to a Bluetooth headset, whatever it is that you do to make the words appear on the screen before you enter. But it's not genuine connection for the most part. Now, you might have some genuine connections on Facebook or with people that you have met on Facebook, but the vast majority of the interactions that you have on the Facebooks and on the Twitters and on the Reddits or any other social media that is out there, it's not, for the most part, not a genuine connection. It's how to boost ego, whether it's yours or someone else's. And that's why Steam It is a big steaming pile of garbage. And I'm not even going to get into that. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
During the 2013 Porcupine Freedom Festival, Davi Barker presented an idea for a renegade psychological experiment. Since then, he has refined his idea and put his plan and research into writing. He explains, "We aim to show the world beyond a shadow of a doubt that power corrupts absolutely and corrupt authority deserves no obedience." Authoritarian Sociopathy is available from Amazon.com, all major bookstores, and now available as an audiobook. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And I'm not going to promise that I'm done ranting for the rest of the show, but I'm going to try to remain calm and work my way through this article little by little. Again, article from lifehack.org, how social media manipulates our views on winners and losers. We judge the value of others based on their following. And we just talked about how most people wind up judging their own worth and value based on likes and follows, but they also judge the value of others on the same thing. The article here says millennials especially put a strong emphasis on the importance of a social media following and how they perceive their peers. The author says, I've actually heard individuals between the ages of 18 and 24 say they have to have at least 10,000 followers before I'd even consider dating them. And they would mean it. The author says, I have to wonder, are they even slightly aware that they're lusting after a false ideal? With the abundance of picture-altering apps allowing the most average of individuals to airbrush their mediocre pictures to a stunning, flawless perception of themselves. On social media, people have the freedom to only show people what they want them to see. Again, cutting room floor versus highlight reel. Many of the perfect posts require a lot of careful planning, timing, and coordination. People spend hours trying to take the perfect picture, to give it that effortless image that so many strive for. Studies have shown that many of these individuals leading quote-unquote perfect lifestyles are actually incredibly stressed and suffer from anxiety and depression. Many online business entrepreneurs will tell you that in order to have a successful online following, you need to have a business plan. Having a strong social media following is anything but effortless. It takes a lot of work, planning, and countless hours of networking with people you will never meet, nor will ever greet them by any other name than their social media identity. And next, there's the fear of missing out, also called FOMO. When many of us scroll through social media, we can't help but feel a bit deflated while we view others hitting milestones that we are still yet to hit. Even worse, the author says, for me anyway, we view people doing exciting and adventurous things while we struggle with envy lurking from our average couch in an average home in an average place. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, is the negative sensation that we experience when we feel that someone is doing more or experiencing more than us, and we feel left out. By habitually plugging into social media, we are constantly reminding ourselves that there is more we could be doing with our lives, and makes us feel badly for not yet doing or achieving them. And there's probably some people that they just can't get up away. Like they know that, oh, well, I should be doing this, and I want to do this, and I want to do this other thing. But I just can't get up away from the internet because, oh, well, look, I just got a notification, and I've got to clear my notifications, and I've got to just clear the notifications, and, well, I can't go do the thing because notifications. You probably know somebody that's like that, right? And that sort of ties in with the fear of missing out, to where not only are you missing out on the, fun and the doing things and traveling and, whatever, but you're also, well, if I get up, then I'll miss a comment, and then I might wind up missing a funny meme, and, I've got to share every Harambe meme that comes up, and the trolley problem memes, and tacos, and this and that, but somebody's wrong on the internet, and I have to argue because reasons. Well, no. And the author even next has a subsection titled, Take the Power Away from Social Media. Although it seems like social media has a strong hold on just about everything these days, there are still those among us who manage to function without it or with minimal contact. Try these few tricks to weaken the hold that social media has on your life. Understand that it is all an illusion. Realize just how much time and effort goes into having a solid social media following. It's like having a second job. It requires hours of time for planning and execution. Then, once the pictures are actually taken, consider the time taken to edit the pictures, finding the perfect filter and caption to match, and then the hashtags. Oh, the hashtags. You've got to have the right hashtags. Imagine how much could be achieved and how much happier people might be if they use that time to actually enjoy their surroundings and connect with people who are actually around them. Another way to take power away from social media is to take a hiatus. Smash that disable button, even if it's just for a day. Take some time to disconnect and step away from the pressures and expectations of social media. There once was a time when you existed without it, and you can have that again. What is that exactly? It's your freedom. Stay tuned. There is more on how to take the power away from social media, because it's all just an illusion. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Stay tuned.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs with a story like no other game before. The liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's FANS.fppradio.com.
Hi, I'm Nick Hazelton from the Anarcho-Yakutalism podcast, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And we're talking about how to take the power away from the social medias. Why? Well, because it's all just an illusion. The people who are leading perfect lives on Facebook or on Twitter or on the Instagrams or the Pinterest or the YouTubes, those lives aren't perfect. Those lives are carefully choreographed to appear perfect. So, how do you release the grip that social media has on your life and how you view winners and losers? Again, understand it's all an illusion. It's like a TV show or a movie, only it's on the internet. And then take a hiatus. The author of the article, and the link will be posted in the show notes where you can read it at your leisure without all of my weird tangents. The author here says, challenge yourself and plan for a reward. In the end, try to go a solid 3 days without social media. Delete the apps from your phone. Do whatever you need to do so that you don't mindlessly start scrolling through without even realizing what you're doing. It happens to all of us. Treat yourself to a nice meal or something you normally don't spoil yourself with. The more you start to disconnect, the more you realize how silly social media culture truly is. Then, find what empowers you. You weren't meant to live your life mindlessly staring at a screen. I'm sure you had interests once, ones that did not involve your phone or a tablet or a laptop or a computer. Reconnect with those things. Climb a tree, read a book, go for a walk, take up knitting, learn to dance. Do literally anything that does not involve a screen. Develop a new skill that will help to improve your self-esteem and will also help you realize that you're meant to exist in a real world with real boys and real girls. And the best way to get the most out of life is to truly live it yourself. And then search for your peers. Believe it or not, there are still people in existence who do not have any social media accounts. They identified the toxicity attributed to constant connection and chose to reject it. You don't have to go completely cold turkey like these legends have, but learn from their values. The author says, I know it can be scary when most of your social development took place on a virtual platform, but you can learn to benefit from the art of conversation. There's no comparison to actually connecting with another individual in contrast with sending an impersonal like or poke their way.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.